My words on the back of the mask that I chose are vulnerability, anger, and love. And it's very ironic that I have a podcast all about vulnerability, and I speak constantly about the power of vulnerability and how that's one of the main messages of our show is this is what happens when you have vulnerable conversations. Yet I am terrible at being vulnerable in my day-to-day life, in my friendships and in relationships and work with myself. I'm so bad at truly being vulnerable. I feel like everything is always an arm's distance away, and I keep it there. I'm not sure why. I think the podcast has made it easier to be vulnerable when I feel like there's a purpose behind it. And I think when I attach it to the greater good, it feels like vulnerability is worth something. But to be vulnerable just for the sake of myself, I think is something that I struggle with, even though I know how powerful it is. Anger is another one of those things that I think also ties into vulnerability, is that I don't let myself be seen angry. I don't get angry often. I don't think I really know even what gets me angry, which is unfortunate because I think anger is a tool that powers a lot of good if you use it correctly. And I think sometimes I undermine and I disrespect myself and the ways that others might treat me by not getting angry and by not having and choosing to use this anger as a tool to stand up for myself. And so a lot of times I just don't think I get angry enough. It almost feels like I kind of just see it happen and then just move on with it without processing a lot of it. And the last word is love. And I chose love because I think it also ties into vulnerability. I think for me, love is just something I don't show enough. Something I don't let the world see. I don't think I let the world see how much love I have. I don't even let myself see how much love I have for myself. That thing you said about being your own best friend, I don't think I'm there yet. And that's something that I've been really journaling a lot recently and thinking about recently is I think in a lot of ways I hate myself right now. And there's a lot of self-hatred, which really, I think when I came to that realization, it was so upsetting to feel, right? Because for the longest time, I never really gave it much thought. Because if anything, I think I loved myself when I was younger. I think I was so naive when I was younger. I was happy. I could see my bad traits and accept them for what they were. And I think the more that I'm growing up, the more that I'm being more critical and self-critical and harsh. And so I've just been thinking recently, I don't give myself enough love. I'm too harsh. I don't give myself enough love. I don't show my love for others. I don't accept the love that others have to give me because I don't have it in myself. And so that's something that I'm really trying to open myself up to more.
Thank you. Wow. Thank you for sharing that. Can I ask you a question?
Yes.
I mean, it may be interesting that you have anger and love right next to each other and you don't show them. Maybe you don't show the anger to others. You don't show love to yourself. Do you show love to others?
I think so. I think I show it, but I don't tell it enough. I don't say it enough to people, which is frustrating. It's frustrating to not be able to say it, you know?
I was thinking about that. Like, have you heard of this book called Love Languages?
I've heard of it.
Do you have one?
I don't, but I am familiar with the 5 love languages.
Oh, okay. Yeah. I just want to take a breath and be in the space with you. I appreciate that. Because I know a lot of young people out there who experience the same. I mean, you're an adult, but young adults or adults who are younger than me, right? Like who feel the same, and even teenagers who I work with in our work, like who feel like there's not any love out there for them, or that maybe it's like that same thing. And I always have to be, I'm always careful not to try and be in fixing mode, right? To just be in listening mode. So I'm in that space too, where I'm like, I want to say something profound, but I just really just want to hold space too, right here.
Yeah. Thank you. I feel like that's actually something that I really am trying to be also better at is holding space for people and to not respond and to sit in silence, sit in that space. I realize, again, with that habit of vulnerability comes this need to fill up every silence, because I think when there's vulnerability, there's a lot of intimacy, and there's silence, there's intimacy, and that's vulnerability, and that's scary. And so I'm also trying to make it a point on appreciating the silences more, being more comfortable with that, and seeing how people open up as they do that. And it's been really, that actually has been very rewarding. I think it's led to a lot of good.